Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to another day of Best of Threes here at the StarSeries Season 14 presented by iLeague. My name is Blue. I'm going to be taking you through today's cast. I believe I'll be solo for most of today, unfortunately, as Hugo, who's been joining me for the previous couple days, is unavailable to join me this evening, as I believe he has classes. So, it's just me. And we're going to get started with our first match here in just a few moments. Should be getting started at any second, according to our admins. It's going to be ORGLESS versus Frag, two of the sort of less reputable teams so far that have managed to work their way over here into the StarSeries. So, for those that don't really know about them too much, but to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about them either. Frag has definitely made a name for themselves here in terms of just bringing up what I do know from these teams, and obviously they've been having some pretty good performances when you look at sort of the mid and low to mid tier stuff that's been going on sort of in EU. And for ORGLESS as well, actually we did see their match that they played off just the other day, and they also saw, not gonna lie, we saw some pretty good things from them, specifically on their T side. CT side was looking a little bit weak, but that's a fairly common thing that I've often seen just for new teams in general, because that's something that newer teams often have to work towards there, is just solidifying that CT side. So we see some good things building upon it, and I would personally favor ORGLESS coming into this matchup, but considering I've never personally had an opportunity to watch the Frag team in the past either, that could also leave a lot open to go their way, as well as they've also, again, just looking at their recent match history, they've had some pretty decent performances. They've definitely struggled in the past as well, but that's sort of a thing for both of these teams. And as well here, guys, while we are just waiting for the ready up to come in, as it should hopefully be happening at any second, just to go over the schedule for the rest of today as well. This is not the only match we are going to have. We're also going to be having a second one coming on a little bit later, as you've already seen, and that's going to be Dignitas versus Flipside. If you're not here to watch that match, or if you're not here to watch this match and you'd like to watch that match coming up a little bit later, that one's going to be going on in about 2 hours and 45 minutes, so if you want to tune into that one, you can go ahead and jump in for that a little bit later. But if you're here for this game, well, stick around, as like we said, should be getting started here in just a few moments. We'll be jumping right into it here. It's going to be on Inferno, and as we go over the map sort of bans and picks once again, this first one I believe was the pick that came out. Let me just confirm it really quickly. This was the pick that came out here from the members of Frag. So they managed to pick this one. The second pick came from ORGLESS, and it was over on Cache, so that was the second map we went for. Mirage is going to be our third and final map, if we do need to play it out to a third one. And in case anybody as well wanted to see the bans, by the way, all this available. You got the usual spot over at the Half-Life TV match page, but Frag removed Train first, then we saw ORGLESS picking up their second map, and that was Overpass. Frag took out Cobblestone after that, and ORGLESS finally removed Dust 2 before we saw the picks, which I've already gone over. But anyway, folks, we are getting live now into the knife round. So let's take a look at exactly how things are going to be going. Obviously, with it being Inferno, a very split-up map, teams are definitely going to want to get that started here onto the CT side. So Inferno being very important, and we'll see how things go from there. Specifically for ORGLESS here, too, because obviously, again, we watched their other match the other day that they played out where they had the issues they had back over on the CT side. I wouldn't say it's as crucial, I think, for them to start over there on that side, but overall, that's something that I think it would be good for them to get a look of that one first. Jumping off on the T side for them specifically wouldn't be the worst thing in the world either. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to be performing onto this map, but I would be a little bit worried if I were them, just because now they're going to be reliant on a very good performance right from the get-go, essentially, and if they can't start it off strong, then that could be a very bad precursor. But for Frag, like I said before, I'm kind of an open book as far as personal observations on seeing them in the past, so we have no clue what to expect from them, and we're just gonna have to wait and see on that. So here we go, folks, live now into the first round. Let's take a look at both teams, and we are live with Frag versus ORGLESS, the first map here in this best of 3 set at the StarSeries Season 14. And ORGLESS, they're going to open it up now by sending quite a few players up banana to try to work a take there. But look at this counter-aggression coming out from Frag, too. They put 3 players stacked up, so that's going to hold ORGLESS back unless they want to directly challenge this. They don't even know the third player is here yet, and there's going to be the opening shot that comes out from Bubble. They pick up one, but Flash finds the response, and as they move in here, one from behind sandbags there, that's going to be Spylighter that tries to take them out. Thankfully, Deadfox is able to respond with 2 kills back onto it, so they get control of the site. And now, MKL trying to find his way back over into this site. Dreamer as well, rotating up through Highway, but it's going to be a little bit slow. Thankfully for NKL, he's got a kit, but no armor sitting on him at this point, so he's going to be a little bit lower on this one. And now for Dreamer, trying to work his way back in and get that intel, but both of ORGLESS's players are sitting safely behind Newbox along with Emo. Not having any trouble holding out there. NKL looking for the spot, but as they push their way out, he's going to reveal himself. They look for the kills, and as they move in here, Deadfox is going to pop out, looking for one. They brought them both down super low. He's going to take one and the second one out, and Deadfox just whips those 2 headshots right into shape for ORGLESS, and they're going to open things up here on their T side by picking up the first round. Now they'll go directly into the buy-ups, and for Frag, They're going to have to start off a little bit lower with their force buys up on the pistols here to start things off for themselves. And overall, just the strategy there, too, for me, Frag was lined up very well, just with that 3-stack over there by the car angle on Banana, trying to hold things from there. But unfortunately, the kills just did not come out in the way they had planned it to. And that flanker back over there, too, that was sitting behind sort of as a sneaky beaky player sitting behind the sandbags, he didn't manage to pick up nearly as many kills as I think he was hoping to. So without that transpiring, that leaves them very weak, and the player on site also gets taken down there pretty quickly, too. So that's going to hand over the round to the members of ORGLESS, and now they'll start it off strong, and they go right for their rifle buy-ups here, already with 4 rifles in the picture, and 1 MAC-10 sitting over there on the Barcode, as I'm assuming he's going to want to try to farm up. Barcode was definitely one of the big fraggers from their match the other day, so we're going to be looking for him to pull that off once again in today's matchup here, too, against Frag. For Barcode, he is going to be leading the charge now for ORGLESS as they try once again to work a little bit of a push over here towards Banana. Very slow, very cautious play for them considering what just happened in the previous round. But as they sneak their way forward here at this point, they're going to look for a way onto that site. Still 2 players resisting it. And that's going to be Victor and Spy Leader sitting over here onto the site as they try to hold off the push, but they're not actually going to commit to it. A lot of time being wasted here at this point, but they are going to end up switching things up and making the push over towards this A site instead, with Bubble and KL and Dreamer having to hold things back on that regard, and that push wraps around. They don't spot yet, but they can hear the footsteps coming in, and so good patience there from Dreamer. He's going to find one, he's going to find the second, and as they walk in, there's NKL picking up a third. Finally, Barcode picks up something, but that's traded out so quickly, and it's just shut down there on that choke point. Nobody making their way through from the Frag side, and they just take so long, so we'll see the response, or apologies, nobody coming through from the ORGLESS side, I should say. So Frag getting a quick response. They're going to be able to pick up that round, and now it's traded 1 for 1, and this is going to make things very, very even right from the get-go. And for Frag now, that's going to mess up the economy over there on ORGLESS' side. They're going to really muck that one up. And they do pick up a lot of free guns off of the hands of this one, too, or at least they had the potential to. What's interesting, though, is I'm not really seeing a whole lot of it. Apologies, the little icons for the weapons aren't really being correct on me. So they pick up 3 guns, I believe, off of that play there. I'm going to assume with Bubble, Spy Leader, and Dreamer all managing to make their way out of that one with the guns. So they're going to be picking those up. And a very, very clean round there, too, for Frag, only losing 1 of their players in the process of that one, and that's going in the initial trade there, too, and that was after they killed 3 other players. So that, the 1 kill really doesn't matter a whole lot for themselves, considering it was all in pistols, and now they've gotten this huge upgrade, so that's going to be a big pickup here for these guys. And ORGLESS, unfortunately, wasting a little bit too much time trying to make that take over there, just doesn't really end up going their way, and they get killed pretty quickly there. So we are waiting for that other player to get in, trying to see what was going on with Django or whoever he was in the match, but he has been removed now, so I'm not entirely sure what the deal was with him, but we should be able to get unpaused now. We'll get right back into the match here now, where unfortunately for ORGLESS, their economy is going to be broken to shambles at this point after picking up such a heavy buy, too, that they invested towards 4 rifles in play and 1 MAC-10, so they pretty much lose all the cash they had. Dead Fox is going to be a little bit low. Is going to be a little bit better off, of course. So I think he picks up armor and he gets tossed over an AK. So they still have a good buy onto him. But Spy Leader already opening it up. He gets traded out by the farmer though. That opens up another avenue here for them to push up towards Banana and get themselves over on towards that B site. Victor going to try to resist that for the time being, but still he's going to be all on his lonesome at this point. And Frag not really having a whole lot of rotationary power ready to go. They've actually put a lot of presence back over here on Rap side just in case it does come in. We can see Dreamer over here on Rap side Cubby. You've also got Bubble just sitting over here in the normal cubby, and then NKL ready to rock and roll, basically, to get himself there, and immediately that call is going to come out very good. So the rotations are here, but it's not even going to be needed as Victor picks up 2 kills. Now NKL gets himself into a great spot, and it's just down a Dead Fox from the side of ORGLESS. He's going to be able to pick up the kill on a Victor at the very least, but now he's all on his lonesome here, just with 13 HP. And there we go, Frag shut it down. Great rotation call from them, and a good hold overall there from Victor as well. Very swift shots coming out, and although he doesn't kill everybody, he does quite enough damage in order to finish off a majority of them. And the good positionings there from Frag allow them to quickly rotate in and take out anybody else that would oppose them. No plant coming out there from ORGLESS either, so they're going to have to go for a full save once again this time around. P250 buy-ups at most. Flash sitting onto Dead Fox, but that's all he's going to bring into it, and they're not going to be expecting too much from these guys this time. And already had a good nade connecting over there on the Dead Fox to bring him down to 63 HP. The rest of ORGLESS just lining up here in middle now to try to make a take through there. And the same setup for Frag as well. They've got this 2-man setup. Bubble picks up 2 before Nay finds a headshot. Actually, it's not going to be a headshot. He just finds 1 dink and then finishes it off with a body shot, but You know, there's NKL, he just walks right in there, gets himself back into a position, or back down just to one player here from ORGLESS once again, who's slowly trying to creep his way up, but not going to be expecting too much here. As he Frag so far, actually, with some very good CT-sided setups, it's actually going to be pretty worrisome now for ORGLESS. Even when they get the guns into their hands, I imagine that this is still going to be troublesome. We can see it there, that these guys just line up, particularly for a very aggressive take, which so far is kind of all we've been seeing from ORGLESS. Granted, again, we haven't really seen that many gun rounds, and then we've only really seen one gun round, and that was on an eco from Frag, but still now, this could evolve into something very interesting as we get the guns into their hands in terms of how Frag are going to continue to play it out to that angle, or will they start to fall back a little more? And it's so unfortunate, too, when you look at it, just because if they had just chosen to go inside of the apartments or even play for all middle into there instead, you have to consider they really only had on the Frag side maybe one person max that could have watched for a balcony approach. It was very, very weak in that regard, so they basically just tried to hard counter for a mid push, and it pans out great because that's all ORGLESS tries to attempt here for 2 rounds in a row, not expecting it to come any other direction. And now you can already see this changing up the pace here from ORGLESS. Once they do get the guns into their hands, they don't really go towards middle all that much. A lot of play over here towards alt mid, and they've already got a lurker working his way inside of the apartments there. That's going to be Flash that's trying to push in. Obviously still some presence on Banana here too, but that should be easily held off here for the opening few moments, as ORGLESS is not going to commit to it just yet. See, Barcode, he sneaks up a little bit there, so he may try to get aggressive, or at the very least make some noise over here, but unfortunately for him and the rest of the players from ORGLESS, they don't really have a whole lot of utility to work with here either. Just going to be waiting out the initial bits coming from Frag so they can try to get a little bit more intel, I imagine, on blind peek. So they're going to take a bit of a risk there, but as they work their way forwards here, not a whole lot of immediate resistance comes out from Frag, as now even they play it back even more so than they initially work here. But still going to just wait essentially for a setup to walk into their direction here. It'll be a split push coming out for both ORGLESS and Frag at this point. ORGLESS working 2 of their players to potentially make some noise over there onto the B site, but 3 already through the mid choke point, and there's going to be the first bit of resistance here coming up from Bubble. He doesn't see it, but there's Spy Leader, and now Bubble gets his way into here as well. Nay did pick up the kill over there on the Spy Leader, but Bubble came in, and he was able to quickly shut down anyone else that tried to push through, so now it's just going to be this blind push. The Molly comes out, not going to connect the initial damage, and the Farmer finds the opening shot, too, to take down Victor, so they're going to find their way onto that site, and it's got to be a rotation for Frag, because unfortunately they won't be able to stop this plant from happening. Plenty of time, too, for the remaining members on ORGLESS to get into post plants, but the Farmer out in the open, doesn't matter, he's already going to find that headshot on the Bubble, shutting it down, and now the Farmer's trying to find his way through. He does squeak through that doorway at the very least, but he's going to get in the face of the Farmer, and the Farmer finds a kill once again now, as he's just ripping through these defenders one by one. NKL looking for his way back in as he finally approaches in from Banana, but I think it's too late at this point. Maybe going to be able to pick up the Farmer as he goes inside of construction, and there he's going to find that kill, but wouldn't be wise now to recommit to this, as Barcode should have a pretty secure hold, and Barcode's going to even go forward looking for this kill here. He will unfortunately die to the bomb explosion, and that will save NKL's life and give him a free AK, but still, another good round comes out from ORGLESS, and now they're going to be able to bounce right back into this here, as unfortunately for Frag, although they do a very good job initially of holding things off there on Rap side as they attempt to push through the arches and get their way on the highway. When the actual entry comes in back over on the B site, the defense is not nearly as strong as it should have been, and those 2 players there are easily dispatched to allow the members of ORGLESS to get themselves in and get the plant going, and then it's just a timing wait the game there from that point forward. Apologies. The Farmer, obviously a big key player in that round too, just shutting it down, but now they're going to try for some blind aggression. Again, a 1-for-1 trade to start things off. And Molly's come up here, so unfortunately for the ORGLESS players, they won't be able to push through things just yet. A little bit of team damage coming out there on the Barcode, too. So they're just going to hold it back, and I think we'll see, again, another very passive round from ORGLESS, waiting for the correct opportunity to work their way into that site and find a way overall to get this plant situation going. Prepare them to push forward, potentially get onto a site once again and just get it, because we've seen these very big burst plays from ORGLESS where they just work for one essentially solidified goal, not really doing anything sneaky at this point in time. And this round is going to be another example of that, where they work these 4 players going through the mid choke point. And now as they work their way through, going immediately forward. Spy Leader will try to resist, but he's smoked off from Archer, so he would have to sneak through that to try and stop these players. But he's going to do it anyway. Moving out, he might be able to catch some. Looking for one, finds it, now has the intel on everybody else. He knows they're all here at this point, so they're going to be locked in. He pushes through. Bit of a mistake there, though, as we're going to see Flash ready to stop that this time around. Going to be able to shut down Spy Leader, and Flash sticks back once again, looking for that shot on a Victor, but Victor clotheslining him. And now Dreamer coming back over there on top of the graveyard, too, to take down Dead Fox. So an easily handled situation from Frag. They respond right back there, and good thing too, because their money would have been broken had they have lost another round, and that could have given the lead to ORGLESS, but they'll be able to maintain it for the time being. ORGLESS will remain behind, And he frags leads now at 4-2 as this close game continues. But for ORGLESS, unfortunately, it doesn't really look like they're going to be able to buy up too much this time around. You get 3,900 as the highest earned player, so maybe Tech 9 armor buy, but we can already see a fairly light and preserved buy up here coming out from the majority of their members. For the most part, P250's Barcode is going to go for the Deagle buy up, but beyond that, no armor, not a whole lot of utility with the exception of Dead Fox. And overall here should be a round that we've already seen the E-Frag handling this very easily time and time again, and I would expect him to do so once more here in this 7th round. They'll still keep it to a normal split for the time being. No just blind out aggression coming here from ORGLESS as they still play it to a default angle just in case E-Frag try to press into them. And overall E-Frag again, just, you know, not a whole lot of deviation, of course, as we talk about that too in the CT-sided strategy here from E-Frag. They're just playing it back, just taking their good old time with it, and waiting for the players to pull into them. If it ends up that they unfortunately end up losing their duels, they'll rotate appropriately, so nothing super special here coming out from E-Frag's CT side. It's basically the same story from ORGLESS too. I haven't really been seeing anything super duper innovative or creative coming out from these guys, and although they have been going sometimes, I mean that push over there through arches to get their way onto highway was good. Unfortunately, it just doesn't pan out because, like I talked before, E-Frag just played the default angles and they're able to hold that off there. They did get a little bit aggressive too as they moved one player off towards highway that are resisted, so that allowed them to pick up at least one extra kill there that they would not have otherwise been able to get. But still here. Now as they line up, everybody push through Banana. Not going to find anything initially. They don't get a whole lot of intel either. Bubble in the meantime shuts down the other player alive, and now Victor getting himself into this, taking out 2 of them. There's going to be a flank coming out from Flash. They don't even realize it too, so Flash works his way around. He's going to be able to shut down Victor. Spyleader looking to take out the remaining players on this site. Finds one and the second. There's the headshot on the USP to take down Dead Fox, and there's E-Frag again coming out on top with another round. Very minimal losses too. Only going to end up losing that one player on the site that got flanked, so they make it through nice and clean. They get another good chance to stack up their economy. It's already in a very good spot when you take a look at players like Victor. He'll after buy up, we're still going to be looking at totals about, actually, you know, he's sitting at 2,800 as he spent quite a pretty penny on his own rebuy. But for the rest of these guys, again, still fully armed to the teeth and still with almost enough money to go for another rebuy. And actually, they're going to finally change up the ballgame a little bit here, getting absolutely aggressive now, pushing into these players. Now they've got the AKs, hoping to catch them off guard. 2-for-1 trade as Bubble picks up both of the initial kills here from E-Frag, and the Farmer did get a response on another one moving out with them. But now this last player over here on Banana's boxed in Barcode, not sure what he was looking at, but not expecting Bubble to push into him at all, so that's essentially going to be a free kill. One works his way up from Mexico here, but now they're going to re-smoke off Banana. The usual sort of positions have been restored from this point, but bomb is down in the smoke. A bit unfortunate they did leave it in the smoke. Had they have pressed it out a little bit further, they might have been able to secure it better and prevent it from being re-picked up, but nonetheless, now they've got a 2-man advantage at this point. And they have a pretty good idea, obviously, where these final 2 are with them not being able to make much progress. Victor finding another opening shot for his team. Flash was patient and did find a way to respond to this one, but now as they press forward here, NKL should have already spotted this player moving through the mid-choke point, and if not him, then Spyleader's going to know it's coming. They won't actually be able to immediately stop this here, so NKL along with Spyleader are going to try to find a way out into the site. Thankfully, they both just get a crossfire going, and it's an easy takedown, but had they been a little bit slower on that fallback to the site itself, we might have been able to see at the very least a plant being snuck off, which, considering everything else that ended up transpiring in the round for ORGLESS, would not have been the worst thing in the world. But now that they lose the round again off of the AKs, and ORGLESS's economy still, I don't believe, actually is on the full losing bonus as of yet, they won't actually be able to buy up here for another time, so they're going to be back down to AKs and Tech 9s, and they're going to continue to fall behind here, unfortunately. As although we do see some good things coming out from ORGLESS, the strategical prowess coming out here from E-Frag just seems to be dominating most of the time. And they actually, as I talked about already, they actually just changed up the ballgame completely, get very aggressive, and E-Frag, or apologies, ORGLESS was not expecting that one at all, so they just get caught completely off guard. And although we have seen some strong entry play coming out from some of these players before in some of the previous rounds, that time it just doesn't get a chance to shine at all because immediately they're E-Frag. They're going to dominate the entry game as they basically force it right into their camp. And already a first kill coming out here from E-Frag. Dreamer picking up one, but moving in as a solidified group here. They do sneak their way around on porch side and pick up a kill there, so they're going to open up the site. That's another sort of weakness that we talked before. Porch side and apartments overall has been left very weak on almost every round from E-Frag. They usually leave only about one person to guard that, so if that falls, it's an easy flank going on to the A side. I think just now ORGLESS is starting to catch on to this. The Farmer's going to hold for now, but as he picks up one kill, looking for another one, but Bubble's just going to catch him through the box there, and that should execute the rest of it. A little bit close, to be completely honest there. A lot of damage coming out from ORGLESS, but not going to be enough still to pick up a round. But with all things considered and what they had invested in this round, that's still a very good economical victory for these players here on the T side. As, again, they didn't really have much. They just had, for the most part, pistols there. They pick up an opening kill, walk onto the site, they get the plant, and they also get 3 kills, and almost a 4th, to be honest there, in addition to that one, too. So they're going to get some damage. They're going to force the armor rebuy on the player that got down that low. And for everybody else here, on E-Frag. That's going to reduce their money by quite a big margin here, so that's not anything to be ashamed about at all. Now they found the weak spot, per se, over here on E-Frag's side. They know that they're not really putting a whole lot of emphasis on defending that porch side, so in the future, obviously not going to go for it 2 times in a row, but in the future, they can try to use that a little bit more here on these final 6 rounds. Barcode, though, good patience, opens it up, a bubble finds a trade. Dead Fox finding another one, but now there's going to be Dead Fox walking in, and oh my goodness, Spy Leader had a great opportunity to take down Dead Fox and completely screws it up. Ollie's going to bring him down to 23 HP. Nay also injured there a little bit too, as is the Farmer now, and oh, NKL almost just going to finish off the Farmer completely there by bringing him down to 19. Won't do the job, but that Molly bounces in, won't connect anything on any of these players as of yet, but this is going to be a tough pull to make here for ORGLESS. They've got to guarantee these pickups right from the get-go. NKL just trying to sneak through, hasn't spotted these players just yet. He takes a little bit of damage, but as he works his way in, Dreamer's already going to catch one there with the grenade that gets tossed in back over towards New Box. That's going to take down the Farmer. You've got one inside of Emo. He's going to fall too, and now it's just Nay back over on Banana, and that should be an easy check. They won't find him. The defuse is coming out. He's not going to be able to stick it, and Nay's only at 9 HP, but he does it anyway. The headshot from Nay shuts down NKL, and ORGLESS somehow, with 3 players sitting at less than 40 HP, managed to clutch through with that round, and what a loss from E-Frag now. Thankfully, still on most of their players with enough money to pick things up here to go for another gun round, but now ORGLESS, they have the edge on this one. They're going to be able to go for another buy themselves, and they have a chance to break the economy to get themselves back into this game again. So for ORGLESS, they go back over here towards mainly an apartments push at this point, working 4 players up towards alt middle. They're going to keep an 8th player as well. That's Dead Fox, working his way inside of middle in case E-Frag try to get aggressive again and try to catch these players off guard. But this is a very solidified push, probably going to work its way out towards Boiler and Long Hauls at this point. And they do put a little bit more emphasis on it this time on E-Frag's defense. See both Dreamer and NKL trying to watch it, both very, very focused, however, on the push that's coming in there from porch wrap side. Nobody really keeping their eyes out on a balcony. And this is a bad thing, too, because it's going to be a waterfall pouring out from here in just a second. Here they go. They're going to work their way out. They find the opening shot. Flash with the headshot connection on the NKL. Dreamer still maintains within the pit, but he only finds 1 kill. Bubble picks one up there, too, but Flash just walks in and picks them both up with a headshot there, taking them down. Dead Fox as well, pushing over there towards the arches. Is going to be able to find an additional kill here for ORGLESS by taking out Spy Leader, and it's just going to be Victor as the final player left alive. He can't do anything about this. He's got the utility to push this, but just can't afford to do it at this point, as now their money's gone, so he's got to fall back and got to try to save that rifle, as ORGLESS again with a swift entry, amazing entry to be completely honest there, mainly off of the hands of Flash, just pulling his way in there and picking up those headshots left and right. They're going to pick up a 4th round, and now they're getting themselves back into this half. They're not clean yet on this side of E-Frag. They've got a couple more rounds before they can really call this a good half, and for ORGLESS, this is a great opportunity to get themselves back into this game in a very, very impactful way here, because now they're going to break the money. ORGLESS should, unless we see a miracle round here from E-Frag, ORGLESS should basically be guaranteed a 5th round unless we see an absolutely crazy one coming out here from Victor. And then from that point forward, they only sit 2 more behind. We should probably just see, actually with this kind of buy up now from E-Frag, they're going to have to, because they're just going to force it actually. They're going to empty out the bank account, so technically a broken buy, not an eco round from E-Frag, I should mention, with the addition of the M4 and the FAMAS being bought up by Bubble at this point, but they're going to buy themselves out here, which is somewhat of a big risk being taken, because if they can't perform on this one, then that's going to break them even worse. That's not going to give a 5th point to ORGLESS, but that's going to give a 6th point to them as well, and put them within only 1 point's grasp of the overall E-Frag scoreline. But Victor presses forward first. He's going to find the opening kill onto the Farmer. This is definitely going to be a good start. What is a very, very risky choice in the economy from E-Frag, but if it pays off again, that's not only going to solidify their lead, but should help to regrow it even more once again. Because now you've got those 2 wins onto the board for ORGLESS. Their money's in a fairly good spot, so they'll be able to buy up again more than likely after this round, of course. But Bubble pressing forward, picks up the kill there onto Nay. Unfortunately for him, Dead Fox was sitting up on top there, so he's going to be able to respond to that one by picking up the kill right back at him. But still, now, these players here, they're just going to press their way up. Banana, Victor's going to try to respond to this one, picks up one and sprays it into the second, looking for the 3rd, and he almost grabs it, but he is going to end up getting it post-mortem. Dead Fox takes him down, but he's sitting in the fire, so he's going to burn him alive. And there's just a shutdown for the members of E-Frag once again. And what a very unfortunate turn of events, as all this build up here for ORGLESS, all this emphasis on them just getting back into the game, and they'd pretty much broken the E-Frag economy, but essentially all off of the hands of Victor. It's going to be an end to that round very, very swiftly, as they try to walk their way into the site, and Victor just finds a crazy spray down to end it there. And right from the get-go there, too, also the push that came out over towards Banana was a pretty big one for E-Frag to pick up a couple kills there, so ORGLESS just not getting very lucky with trying to hold that. And falling prey once again, that's about the 2nd or 3rd time we've had that happen this half, where they just fall prey to the overall aggression coming out there from the side of E-Frag. When the things get a little bit tough for Frag, they just switch up the game plan a little bit. It seems to be working out great for them over here on this CT side, and I'm going to be very, very worried, to be honest, upon switching the halves up now when we see ORGLESS jumping onto that CT side. I already talked about it in their set they played off. I forget who they played the other day. Trying to remember exactly who they ended up playing up against, but they were playing against one of the higher tier teams in their group, which in this group, we'll wait for the action to get started here. I should probably be able to go over this too. I think it was Gamers 2 they played up against. That looks right from the standings, but I'll talk about it more in a second here. As Bubble, again, is going to open up the action for Frag. That'll shift things up here once again for ORGLESS. They're just going to fully commit themselves over here to a B-site push from Banana. Again, a lot of emphasis relying on Victor there just to hold that B-site all on his lonesome at this point. But now the rotations come in. Spy Leader's going to move him, but he's flash and walking through that smoke here. He's going to get himself right in the middle of his opponents, but not going to be able to find anything, unfortunately. So they waltz right in. At the same time, though, Victor didn't actually try to resist this, but almost reconnected that kill to Nay. But Nay, thankfully, jumping up on top of the spools. Victor wasn't expecting that one to happen. So there's an easy kill coming out for there. Flash will be able to find a second one. He's going to grab it on the bubbles now, as that smoke just does not work out at all for the members here of Frag as they try to work their way back in. Just give somebody a free platform on top of spools. They're not able to stop it at all. So Frag, they're not even going to try to attempt the retake with these final two players. They're just going to fall back and hopefully hide in the pit here in hopes of saving the rifles. As they win one round here, they get another good stack up, but you can see already 3 players are completely bought out, including the 2 that are still left alive. So they need to try and save this to the best of their abilities, as now ORGLESS are going to rebuild their own economy. And we've seen this before too, that they were on the brink of breaking here, but they're going to be back in a good spot. You can already see the money on them. They're going to be very well off here heading into the next round. And now with the 5th point, getting very, very close to just bringing this into contention. And overall, this is not a bad half for them at all. But the big thing is here now too is if we see another big strike back coming out from Frag. Just to hark back to the game they did play up against about a week ago against Gamers 2. ORGLESS had a whole lot of problems on their CT side, specifically, I think it was played on Train on maps like that one too, which, again, you figure that they're going to be able to do very well there, but the calls and whatnot just don't really seem to be that well formulated as of yet from the ORGLESS side of things, and that could lead to some very, very bad consequences if it's not lined up well, especially on a map over here like Inferno, where yes, it's a fairly CT-sided map, but if the T's can work a good strategy against you, then they can still shut you down very, very quickly if you're not coordinated for it, and just prevent you from even doing anything at all in terms of the retake or in terms of stopping the push to begin with. So now, in this round here from ORGLESS, once again, we've already talked about the sort of struggled economy now on the side of Frag. Not really with a whole lot to offer this time around, but the ORGLESS members, specifically Dead Fox, going to try to work his way through the mid-choke. Everybody else, again, they're going to go for the 4-man waterfall push to come their way out onto the balcony. Saul's going to be first in the way here, but Flash and Barcode already finding 2 kills. Dead Fox working his way out through the mid-choke point. 2 picks up an additional kill onto Bubbles. They're into the site. They're ready to go, and these final 2 from Frag, again, won't be able to do too much. Those that were armed with rifles just weren't able to respond properly, as I think Frag was going to be expecting them to be able to do this time. And although they are going to creep their way in, I'm not entirely sure what they are going to be able to try to do here. They work their way over there towards the rap side. The first player they're going to end up going up against is Dead Fox. He finds one. Victor gets the response, but he picks up an M4, so I think he's just going to be happy with this one, especially now being dropped to 12 HP. He's going to want to get the heck out of here, try to save that rifle, get contested by the farmer in a second, but he actually squeaks his way into Mexico just in time. Somewhat of an obvious position, but if he hides inside long enough, finds a kill. Another drop down comes out here, and he almost finds the leg shot. But Barcode, thankfully, actually it'll be Nay, apologies, Nay will be able to finish him off, taking him down. And ORGLESS again come out on top of the round. They do get some good damage out, as I said before, but now we're in the last round, so the economical damage isn't really going to be too big of a thing, and Frag are completely broken, so this is probably actually going to be looking like a 7th point for ORGLESS, which is not bad at all. I talked about how ORGLESS really needed to sack up as many T-sided rounds as they possibly could. I think I was expecting them to be leading here by a little bit, especially considering the way that they turned around this half at certain points in it, but Frag bounced back and with a pretty strong hold there. And again, when you consider usual coefficients for a map like Inferno, picking up 7 rounds T-side is still very, very good indeed, but now it's going to go on to that CT side as actually Spy Leader picking up the 2 initial kills here with the CZ, picking up a 3rd as he presses through and finally goes down to Barcode's shot. That's going to take him out, but he's still done so much damage at this point, so Frag, they should just be able to waltz right in and try to take down these 2 players just through pure overwhelming power, but they're not going to do it. They hold back. They'll give them a little bit of time to get into their close plants and get this mob down as well. Bubble held back here at the outside of Banana as he can't unfortunately push his way through this just as of yet, but now he's going to work his way in. But Barcode finding the one tap there, takes down Dreamer, the farmer, in his position too. He shuts down another one, and KL picks up a response, and Bubble walks in there, gets the mid-air headshot over the farmer, taking down one of the final players, and at the end of the day, on probably the most unlikely round to do it, Frag come through with another one on this eco, and they'll bring it up to 9-6 at the end of the half there. So ORGLESS, that's not the best way to end it, unfortunately. That should have been an easy 7th point, but the trouble they're getting themselves into the site, and the 3K from Spy Leader with the CZ play there too, not being able to respond to that, pretty detrimental. And little small mistakes like that, I think, were some of the biggest problems that we saw from ORGLESS here on this first half. Just obviously watching out for things such as that, and for Frag too. Very good holds from them. A couple of slip-ups on their part, but now we have to see how they're going to be able to perform on this T side. And ORGLESS, we got to see what they can piece together on the CT side, considering what we saw in their last match. They've got a lot of work to do, so let's see if they're going to be able to piece things together right here from this pistol round. They're going to have to perform from the get-go, as otherwise Frag will have a very, very comfortable lead, assuming we don't see any problems with the second or third rounds coming up after that. So here we go, live right into it, folks. Let's get to it. In terms of where Frag is going to be taking this push initially here, we can see a little bit of action happening on the T ramp, obviously, but for the rest of the team, playing towards alt middle there, and two already working their way inside of the apartments to line up a potential push, or at the very least get some intel that's been going on there, past that mid choke point, and into the wrap side over there towards porch. A little bit of play happening. Overall, nothing being pushed out just as of yet, but this freedom that's been given to the CT Zach over here on Banana is going to allow Barcode along with Nay to press forward. Smoke will come out from one of them back over here onto Banana, but that is going to fairly quickly dissipate. And now the rest of their players here, two of them from Frag, already working their way through this mid choke point over here towards Wrap side, over towards Arches. That's going to be Victor and Spy Leader trying to find their way in towards there and trying to see if they can catch anybody out from ORGLESS. But again, ORGLESS is playing a very almost a mirror strat to what we saw on the side of Frag there initially, as they're going to put a lot of emphasis back over there on the apartments and port side angle comparatively. And they'll, for the most part, end up leaving Wrap side open, with the exception of keeping the Farmer here, just to watch out for that. He's going to catch it though, so they're going to get time to react to this, and the fake push is going to come back into the B site, but that gets handled pretty nicely there. Victor does pick up one kill. That's happening over here on the A side. The B site really didn't do anything too much, but nonetheless, Frag are going to be able to brute force their way in. They pick up the opening couple kills here. Now they found their way into the site. So ORGLESS is going to have to rotate their players back over here and find a way back into it. Overall, too, unfortunately for them, their health pools are not looking that great, and you can see Nate with a nice headshot there on the NKLs. They push their way back into this one. The final two just stuck there on the site. They haven't found that out just yet, but they're going to know in a second. There's Victor with one. Nate jumps in and finds the other one, and now it's just going to be Barcode, but he does end up closing it out for himself and the rest of his team, and he's got the kit to work with there, too. So Barcode basically using speed and timing to his advantage there. He's going to finish it up with just 2 HP. Unfortunately for Bubble, that happened a little bit too quickly for him to respond to, so nothing gonna happen there for Frag to start things off well. And ORGLESS are gonna get themselves back into this now, and immediately they go for the big buy-ups for the most part. We're gonna see probably a third rifle investment on the Dead Fox there, so that's gonna be exactly what we have happening. And then the two SMGs coming into play on both the Farmer and Nay. Got the the UMP and the MP9 sitting there onto Nay. And now for Frag, they'll take the aggressive buy-up here. It's actually interesting they do this because they got the plant. So if they just saved up here and gone for the like PG-50 vibes and played a very passive strat, because remember too, ORGLESS, I didn't bring this up as of yet, but ORGLESS, much like Frag to be honest, there were one to play a fairly aggressive strat when they knew they had the advantage here. So if they had done this once again here on this round, and ORGLESS ended up losing like 3 or 4 of their players in that round, and it came down to a very close one, even just with PG-50s. I mean, you could definitely do that. If it ended up being that situation there, then the third round buy-up from Frag would have looked very, very confident. But they just go for it right here in the second. And unfortunately, they're going to have to resign themselves to even trades for the most part. Dreamer, though, finds an additional one as he works his way out to the site. And there's going to be Spy Leader picking up one, too. So, actually, take my words back. They didn't need the rifles, as they seem to manage it very well on their own. ORGLESS, unfortunately, faltered to a lot of that. And now Flash will be the final player left alive, just sitting down with 7 HP. Nothing left he can do at this point, so he's got to fall back down Banana, try to save that rifle, and keep himself out of harm's way, as Frag just, again, nothing really super special there, just working their way in. And ORGLESS, with the defenses placed in the wrong positions there, they're now going to be able to strike back. And for Flash, he's going to have to try to find a way to hide. He'll find it within the T-spawn there. Nobody from Frag is going to be able to press into that quickly enough. What is that circle doing there? No one's going to be able to press into that quickly enough to find him. So as you can see from the big map, he's going to be safe. He'll keep that rifle at the very least, but this is really going to put a dink in the chain as far as the economy is concerned. I imagine he could toss that Tech 9 over to somebody too. So that'll be another upgraded pistol at the very least that ORGLESS will have to work with here in this round. But beyond that, not too much, as we can already see. It's basically going to be an equivalent of the second round buyout that we saw from Frag just last round there too, except now Frag have a whole lot more being brought into this for them. They'll still keep the one UMP in play from NKL, But for everybody else now, they've upgraded to rifles. That includes Spy Leader sitting over here on a FAMAS, Dreamer sitting on a Scavenged M4, and then Bubble and Victor now picking up their own AKs to work with this one too. Whereas ORGLESS, we actually don't see Flash tossing the Tech 9 over to like Dead Fox, who really could have used it at this point. The rest are working with armor, and they've got, you know, at the very least the $500 pistols, but Dead Fox looking a little bit weaker there with the P250s, so we'll see how that ends up panning out for these guys. But Frag, again, just being very cautious about things, not going to move their way into the site, just as if taking it nice and slow for the time being. And as they press their way forward here, and they are going to end up solidifying on just pretty much a straightforward push through mid-choke point in an attempt to push in there. There's going to be Nay opening it up with a nice headshot over on the Spy Leader. Bubble's going to find the response, but as Victor presses forward too with the AK, is going to be able to catch off Barcode here before he can press through that smoke. Bit of an accidental team dink coming out there. I believe that connects over on the Bubble to bring him down to 55 HP, but the CT's in the site. Going to be shaking a little bit here, and more moving out through arches too. Is this could just be an avenue to push their way into the B site, or at the very least these two are watching out for a push to come over from that B site itself, but this leaves them overexposed on the site, and now the Farmer's going to pick up an additional kill. Dead Fox, that P250, I was wrong. He can do work with it after all. Just walks right into Dreamer. Dreamer not going to be able to catch up any shots at all, so they bring this back. Now armed up with rifles once again. They're going to work their way in. The plant comes up. They're going to try to push into this one, but thankfully it's happening in the site, so they can't directly do this as of yet. The Bubble sitting behind that, looking for the shots within the smoke, and NKL as well. They've got a mean crossfire spray set up here, but NKL's not there when he needs to, and the kill comes out from the CTs. Dead Fox picks up the kill. This response from NKL, but Dead Fox again picks up an additional headshot and closes it out for ORGLESS. So that's very, very unfortunate too, as they had the setup just to end that very, very swiftly, but for NKL, who was sitting back down inside of the pit, just was not in the right place at the right time. I don't know if that was a mistake, him jumping down from the truck position just to keep himself alive and sort of leaving his teammate out for dead, but Bubble there ends up going down very quickly, and then he's left in a 1-on-2 and is not able to respond to that quickly enough. He picks up the 1 kill, but that's not enough. Had he just been stuck on top of that truck, he probably could have gotten the spray down with his teammate and could have ended that for themselves. So they're going to lose the round off of the hinges of that one. And now ORGLESS are right back into this one as well, as we're going to continue to trade rounds. For Frag, though, looking a lot better in terms of an economy at this point, as they're still going to be able to continue the buy-up with their rifles. Fully utility stack behind it, too. As for ORGLESS, they've already used a lot of their utility. They've got a decent amount of it on Dead Fox, Barcode, and Nay. But Nay as well here is still down to an MP9. We'll have to try and work this one if a direct push comes his way. We'll have a little bit of support from Flash 2 back in Emo. But still, that rifle could very swiftly end him without him being even able to pick up a shot or two onto anybody from the side of Frag. And now off of the losses of this one, obviously, Frag going to look out for this early aggression. Bubble specifically, taking those pot shots through mid-choke point. Hoping he can catch out like an Opera or something. Obviously, not going to be an equation as of yet. I should mention this one, too, from Frag's side of thing. We haven't really seen an Opera presence at all so far in this map from either team. Nobody's really, I don't think, I could be wrong, but at least as far as my very short memory can recall, I don't think we've seen a single op buy-up coming in this entire map so far. It's either due to personal choice or due to the fact that nobody's gotten a strong enough economy in order to get one. That second point would be partially correct, as both teams are sort of on the edge of losing that money for most of the half, but still, it'll be interesting if we can see a solid grasp gain by ORGLESS. So they're actually going to pick one up over here on their own CP side. But there's the Farmer. Good hold. Takes some damage, but he's going to be able to pack the heat right back onto his opponents there as he picks up a kill. Dead Fox picking one up here too, but now Spy Leader's going to press in. He finds 1 and 2 there off of the hands of some nice shots, taking down the Farmer and Barcode. So now they found their way into the site. Not going to be able to pick up the plant just as of yet, as we did see the kill coming out there just a few moments ago from Dead Fox, who's still going to try to hold this. They press in, and unfortunately, that spray's not going to work out well at all. But timer far too low. Spy Leader with another kill, but that's traded out by Flash as well. But the timer, far too low. Frag are just waddling their way into that site, and obviously just running it down far too low. So there's going to be ORGLESS with another round going onto the board for themselves there too. They pick it up. And for those players that do end up surviving and going down, look at how broken that money's going to end up being for Frag now as well. You can just see the differences coming into play there, and the differences in buy-ups here too. Bubble's going to be able to work for a Tech 9 and armor buy-up. Same story for Victor, but everybody else at the very least is getting Tech 9 armor with some utility. The rest of these guys aren't going to have that, but there's going to be a good push that comes in from Spy Leader. 2 Tech 9 kills in a row there as they try to see some aggressive movement coming out there from ORGLESS. They don't catch any of that at all, and now they're going to lose 2. Thankfully, at least one of these responses comes out, and now they're going to be able to rotate some of their players, specifically Dead Fox is going to be able to push himself in, but there's Bubble with a nice kill there too, catching him just as he peaks. The timing on that shot, absolutely perfect. Now they've got the advantage back in their position in a big way. We've seen that the Farmer moves into a counter spot, but Dreamer's able to respond after he picks up a kill on the Spy Leader, and now they can just waltz their way onto that A site. And to be honest, for Barcode, he's going to be able to catch this, but there's no way he's going to be able to rotate it in time to stop this. He's got to sit back and save the rifle. This is a round for Frag, just off of the hinges of that play from Banana.
Bomb has been planted.
Not much else, unfortunately, that Barcode will be able to do at this point. Frag Just hold their own ground, find the responses that are needed, and a big mistake from ORGLESS on playing for that aggression, thinking that they would be completely broken and would be down to like default pistols and whatnot there, or once again, essentially just trying to steal a page from the book of the eFrag's own CT side strat that we saw in the last half there too, where they tried some similar play. Just doesn't pan out at all, and they walk right into Spy Leader's Tech 9, who shuts him down with 2 from the beginning. We only see 1 traded out there by the farmer. He as well ends up faltering as they try to make their way into the B site. And although Barcode is going to end up surviving and pressing him back a little bit, they still end up with a 3-on-1 advantage, which there's not much that Barcode can try to do to stop that here. Oh. A little bit fidgety there on the side of eFrag as the round comes to a close, but still, nothing too big off of their shoulders as now they're going to be able to maintain their lead. As another fairly unlikely round, to be honest, continues to be traded back here in the favor of eFrag. So they're going to keep that lead going 11-9. And ORGLESS, again, as we talked about the economical problems that have been surfacing for both teams here, it shows its ugly head once again for ORGLESS as they're going to get at least 1 new FAMAS on the table. The 1 rifle is saved, but already it goes to the ground. Dead Fox looking for the response, and he's going to find it here. But Dreamer, once again, picking up an additional 1 here from the side of eFrag as well. Rebalances the equation and puts it back into the T side's favor. And the final 3 alive here for ORGLESS at this point, not really having all that much left, so it should be a fairly simplistic take here from the side of eFrag. Bubble just sits back and waits for another aggressive push to come out there from ORGLESS. And I'm not sure, to be honest, there why they would continue to aggress that, considering all things that had been transpiring here. eFrag kind of just sitting back and waiting, to be completely honest, here for ORGLESS to press into them, and they keep obliging it time after time again. So they've caught on to the strat here from ORGLESS's CT side, at least when they try to play it aggressively. And I just think that that needs to shape itself up a little bit better here and try to change itself up a little bit better if we want to see more success coming out from the ORGLESS CT side. And see, there's some good patience that ends up coming out. Unfortunately, again, only a 1-for-1 trade. And that other player back down there by Porch gets eliminated fairly quickly. Still, oh, apologies, gets created out very quickly as well. But at the very least, they pick up the trade there. The problem is that they're making these very aggressive movements right from the beginning, and they're losing these players almost immediately as the round starts, and not trading out kills, not getting a whole lot of intel. So what are these plays worth for ORGLESS here to work towards? Not really a whole lot. It's only going to give them more lost rounds, and this kind of strat has solidified eFrag once again now in this second half, as they're potentially going to be able to press forward to 13 points here in a second too. ORGLESS, they've got nothing. They've basically had to go for a full save with the exception of 1 to 2 of these players here, and I don't think only 1 player buys anything this round. That's going to end up being Barcode with a D-goal, but we haven't really seen too much of him coming out this half so far for this. So not really going to be expecting too much. Now eFrag, they're going to try to press their way into the site. Should be a fairly simplistic movement. And Spy Leader already picking up a kill and a flash in order to pick that one up as well. More rotations coming out from ORGLESS to try to flank it, but still not expecting too much to come out from them, as they'll be held back, and they've got, for the most part, default pistols. They get some good damage on the Dreamer, but Dreamer going to be able to fall back and put himself into a safe spot here with 9 HP. More support has come his way as well, so if we do end up seeing the Farmer try to peek out over here towards the, it's going to be very quickly dispatched, and there you have it. Once again, 3 swift kills for eFrag to close out the round. Nobody ends up going down, so everybody saves their money. A lot of money actually stacked up on these players, but still no op, which is super duper odd. Like I said before, I don't really know a whole lot about these teams' history in terms of what they play towards, but I would almost argue to say that like eFrag on the D side just doesn't want to use an op. And it might even be the same story for ORGLESS, to be honest. There's no forced ops or anything. So there's going to be Victor opening it up, moves in, finds a second one here too as he pushes up towards Banana. Both Flash and Nay are both going to follow this one, and already here, again, another big problem for ORGLESS. We talked about this already. But they just play that far too aggressively. Why would you push that over there when you know that eFrag have been moving towards this with 4 to 3 players in the past, time and time again? So that's just going to hand over 2 free kills on most of the players here on eFrag, and this site as well. And this is a round. This is it. ORGLESS can't stop this. ORGLESS also can't contest this because of their money. They're not going to be able to rebuy if they should lose these final 3 players. They've absolutely got to try to save. eFrag knows this, and with how quickly they were able to dispatch the 2 defenders of the B side and get control, the 2 didn't even really have to recommit to it. So now you've got Dreamer and NKL. They're on the hunt. They're looking for the final 3 players in hopes of eliminating them and preventing those rebuys that would come out from ORGLESS on that next round. ORGLESS will more than likely be forced to just go for it. Barcode will hold off a 1 at the very least, but this is money that they're not even really worried too much about at this point here, as they've got too much in excess. The Farmer, thankfully, will be able to hold his own as well. They're dropped to 12 HP, but he still comes out on top. But one of them does end up going down at the end of it. Bubble picks up the kill over on the Barcode, and that is going to be the 14th point coming out from eFrag now. For the rest that don't have it, they at the very least get 1 more of these buyouts going, and they are going to force things up, as you can see here with the rifle buyouts coming out. They'll keep 4 players with armor. 1 player is not going to have too much. It's going to end up being Nay. He just goes for a 5-7 armor buy because that's all he can really afford. But the money stretched for those for the 2 that did end up saving the M4s. The money is going to get stretched out enough to the point where they can have armor buy-ups on those 2 players along with M4s getting tossed on them. So it's not the worst situation in the world. But this is probably going to be their last-ditch attempt. You know, this is looking at pretty much everybody with the exception of Barcode going for the full buyout at this point. So not a whole lot of cash left in the reserves here for ORGLESS, even considering that they're now going to be on the full losing bonus if they drop this round once again. It's got to be a response right here. A good start to it as a nade comes in, but there's NKL coming in to support his teammate. Going to be able to shut down the farmer almost immediately after this one. And no other additional support here from ORGLESS. So 1 player aggressively pushing out, picked up by the members of Frag, and there's no way for a trade to come out here once again from ORGLESS this time. So that's been the sort of status quo from the CT side for a majority of this half, is that they overexpose themselves in the hopes of picking up an early frag, or at the very least an early trade to reduce the numbers from the side of Frag. But the problem is that most of the time, if not all of the time, it goes by the way of the T's, and there's no one there to try and trade it out, so they hand over these free kills and already stunt themselves from just the first few seconds of the round. So that's, again, another big problem that we have to see changed up. I talked about the problems the CT side from ORGLESS before, and it seems like a lot of them have started to resurface again. So that's going to be a big trouble heading on to map number 2. But to be honest here, I'm not really expecting a whole lot now that NKL picks up that kill. Dead Fox might prove me wrong, though, as he picks up 2 kills over here on the NKL and Bubble now. They still hold control. He pops back out once again over there of the jungle area, and he's going to be able to find another one. Finally, Dreamer picking up Barcode at the least, but this brings it into a 2-on-2. Nay with no scouted guns yet, but he presses forward. Almost going to be able to pick down Nay as he brings it down to just 13 HP. Dead Fox is going to move in. He finds one more, but Dreamer again with the trade. Thankfully, scavenges the round for Frag. Now they're on match point. Easily these rebuys will be coming out from them. Bubble sitting at max money. I didn't even mention this as of yet, and it's the same story for Victor there too. Both of those players were sitting at max money at this point, and a lot of the others sitting close to 8 or 9k, so easily everybody's going to go for the rebuy. ORGLESS are going to force things up here. They get 2 FAMASs in play, 2 M4s in play. Not a whole lot of utility when you look at the stack here. Nay once again down to a 5-7, so they can have at the very least 1 Molly in the picture here, along with an additional smoke, but that only leaves 3 smokes, 1 Molly, 5 flashes for the whole team, 1 HE grenade on the farmer, which was just used now, and overall not looking too good. 4 flashes, 4 smokes, apologies there. I did notice that Flash has one for himself as well. I thought it was a smoke. But now that these are probably going to get used very early, that doesn't leave a whole lot of room for response. So, needs to be a miracle from ORGLESS. They need to get this back into this, and most importantly, they need to stop pushing, because they keep losing their players so early to this one, and that hasn't changed. It's like it's reduced itself slightly in the way that they've sort of moved away from it to some degree, and it's usually only just 1 to 2 outliers that try to do that. And usually too, I should sort of correct myself. It's not usually a very big attempt to just push out directly and go for a kill. It's more of an attempt to get info, but it's a very big attempt at getting info. They're oftentimes just, you know, wide peeking out towards mid choke point or something such as that. And oftentimes it just leads to them getting picked off very easily. So stuff like that. Playing it back, playing it cautiously, it's worked out for them. They at the very least have been able to maintain trades upon that, but we haven't really seen a full round where they've done this. This is the first time where they've done it, and actually a mistake on the smoke here from the T side is going to let them catch a potential movement. There's Fed Fox, he holds, picks up 2 kills on a Victor and Spy Leader right from the start. Now the rest are going to try to push in. Bubble and Dreamer finding 2 to come back over there in from the porch side. Dreamer as well holds himself alive and survives that encounter as he finds an additional kill with Dead Fox, making himself out of that encounter with just 5 HP. Now the rest are going to rotate in. They've got to try to stop this. This is it. This is going to be match point now. And Nay along with Flash both going to move in. They're looking for the headshot on the Bubbles. They try to surround one. They're going to find it. And as well, they pick up the final one there too. So ORGLESS maintain for the time being. Very, very thin numbers being spread out for themselves. So it's not going to help them in the long run of things, especially now that they've been reset. But it's exactly what we need to see from them. Because they hold it back. They play it cautiously. And what do you know? They end up trading out well enough. And at the end of the day, that movement comes in there. One of the players from Frag had been heavily injured from the exchange, and the 2 players on the B side obviously not taking any damage. They move in, all refreshed and ready to rock and roll, and they shut things down in that 2-on-2. End up losing an additional player, but now again they go for the buy. It's looking a lot better this time around here. All 5 rifles this time at the very least, and the utility looking a lot more healthy as well. But for Frag, they've got a whole lot more money to work through, so they're not worried about it all. Still no op, I should mention as well here, but as they work their way in, there's 2 kills, and that aggression again! No, ORGLESS, why did you go back to this? Dead Fox picks up 1 kill, but they've just been wiped to shreds. The A-site defense is gone. If this weren't the 15th point for Frag, this would be another eco from ORGLESS, and you can just tell off of that fact how dire this is going to end up being. NKL with 1 shot. And that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen, more than likely here. Frag with a 4-to-1 advantage at this point. Flash is going to try to find his way in. Already given out his position, though, by this Flash, ironically enough, that he tosses over there towards the porch side. He's going to re-smoke things in hopes that he does not get flanked. But as he works his way over, it's probably the hardest retake position to work in without a smoke. Finds one headshot on the spy leader. So much time has been passed as well. And there you go. Bubble finishes it off over here on the flash, shuts him down. And the final score of map number 1 is going to be 16-10. So we are going to go to a short break, ladies and gentlemen, while we load into the second map. It is going to be back over, as my memory serves me, over on Cash. And keep in mind, of course, this was the pick for me, Frag, so we might see some better things from ORGLESS on their own pick. But we'll be going to that in just a few minutes, so stick around and we'll be back with this set, continuing on once again between Frag and ORGLESS in the StarSeries Season 14, presented by iLeague. Good look to both teams, and we are live with Frag versus ORGLESS, the first map here in this best of 3 set at the StarSeries Season 14. And ORGLESS, they're going to open it up now by sending quite a few players up banana to try to work a take there. But look at this counter-aggression coming out from Frag too. They put 3 players stacked up, so that's going to hold ORGLESS back unless they want to directly challenge this. They don't even know the third player is here yet, and there's going to be the opening shot that comes out from Bubble. They pick up one, but Flash finds the response, and as they move in here, one from behind sandbags there, that's going to be Spylighter that tries to take them out. Thankfully, Dead Fox is able to respond with 2 kills back onto it, so they get control of the site. And now, MKL trying to find his way back over into this site. Dreamer as well, rotating up through Highway, but it's going to be a little bit slow. Thankfully for NKL, he's got a kit, but no armor sitting on him at this point, so he's going to be a little bit lower on this one. And now for Dreamer, trying to work his way back in and get that intel, but both of ORGLESS' players are sitting safely behind Newbox along with Emo, not having any trouble holding out there. NKL looking for the spot, but as they push their way out, he's going to reveal himself. They look for the kills, and as they move in here, Dead Fox is going to pop out, looking for one. They brought them both down super low. He's going to take one and the second one out, and Dead Fox just whips those 2 headshots right into shape for ORGLESS, and they're going to open things up here on their T side by picking up the first round. Now they'll go directly into the buy-ups, and for Frag, well, they're going to have to start off a little bit lower with their force buys up on the pistol. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to another day of Best of Threes here at the StarSeries Season 14 presented by iLeague. My name is Blue. I'm going to be taking you through today's cast. I believe I'll be solo for most of today, unfortunately, as Hugo, who's been joining me for the previous couple days, is unavailable to join me this evening, as I believe he has classes. So, it's just me, and we're going to get started with our first match here in just a few moments. Should be getting started at any second, according to our admins. It's going to be ORGLESS versus Frag, 2 of the sort of less reputable teams so far that have managed to work their way over here into the StarSeries. So, for those that don't really know about them too much, but to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about them either. Frag has definitely made a name for themselves here in terms of just bringing up what I do know from these teams, and obviously they've been having some pretty good performances when you look at sort of the mid and low to mid-tier stuff that's been going on sort of in EU. And for ORGLESS as well, actually we did see their match that they played off just the other day, and they also saw, not gonna lie, we saw some pretty good things from them, specifically on their T side. CT side was looking a little bit weak, but that's a fairly common thing that I've often seen just for new teams in general, because that's something that it's something that newer teams often have to work towards there, is just solidifying that seat here to start things off for themselves. And overall, just the strategy there too for Frag was lined up very well, just with that 3 stack over there by the car angle on Banana, trying to hold things from there. But unfortunately, the kills just did not come out in the way they had planned it to. And that flanker back over there too, that was sitting behind sort of as a sneaky beaky player sitting behind the sandbags, he didn't manage to pick up nearly as many kills as I think he was hoping to. So without that transpiring, that leaves them very weak, and the player on site also gets taken down there pretty quickly too. So that's going to hand over the round to the members of ORGLESS, and now they'll start it off strong, and they go right for their rifle buy-ups here, already with 4 rifles in the picture, and 1 MAC-10 sitting over there on the Barcode, as I'm assuming he's going to want to try to farm up. Barcode was definitely one of the big fraggers from their match the other day, so we're going to be looking for him to pull that off once again in today's matchup here too against Frag. For Barcode, he is going to be leading the charge now for ORGLESS as they try once again to work a little bit of a push over here towards Banana. Very slow, very cautious play from them considering what just happened in the previous round. But as they sneak their way forward here at this point, they're going to look for a way onto that site. Still 2 players resisting it. And that's going to be Victor and Spy Leader sitting over here onto the site as they try to hold off the final map, if we do need to play it out to a third one. And in case anybody as well wanted to see the bans, by the way, all this available. You got the usual spot over at the Half-Life TV match page, but Frag removed Train first, then we saw ORGLESS picking up their second map, and that was Overpass. Frag took out Cobblestone after that, and ORGLESS finally removed Dust 2 before we saw the picks, which I've already gone over. But anyway, folks, we are getting live now into the knife round. So let's take a look at exactly how things are going to be going. Obviously, with it being Inferno, a very split up map, teams are definitely going to want to get that started here onto the CT side. So Inferno being very important, and we'll see how things go from there. Specifically for ORGLESS here, too, because obviously, again, we watched their other match the other day that they played out where they had the issues they had back over on the CT side. I wouldn't say it's as crucial, I think, for them to start over there on that side, but overall, that's something that I think it would be good for them to get a look of that one first. Jumping off on the T side for them specifically wouldn't be the worst thing in the world either. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to be performing onto this map, but I would be a little bit worried if I were them, just because now they're going to be reliant on a very good performance right from the get-go, essentially, and if they can't start it off strong, then that could be a very bad precursor. But for Frag, like I said before, I'm kind of an open book as far as personal observations on seeing them in the past, so we have no clue what to expect from them, and we're just going to have to wait and see on that. So here we go, folks, live now into the first round. Let's take a look, he said. So we see some good things building upon it, and I would personally favor ORGLESS coming into this matchup, but considering I've never personally had an opportunity to watch the Frag team past either, that could also leave a lot open to go their way, as well as they've also, again, just looking at their recent match history, they've had some pretty decent performances. They definitely struggled in the past as well, but that's sort of a thing for both of these teams. And as well here, guys, while we are just waiting for the ready up to come in, as it should hopefully be happening at any second, just to go over the schedule for the rest of today as well. This is not the only match we are going to have. We're also going to be having a second one coming on a little bit later, as you've already seen, and that's going to be Dignitas versus Flipside. If you're not here to watch that match, or if you're not here to watch this match and you'd like to watch that match coming up a little bit later, that one's going to be going on in about 2 hours and 45 minutes, so if you want to tune into that one, you can go ahead and jump in for that a little bit later. But if you're here for this game, well, stick around, as like we said, should be getting started here in just a few moments. We'll be jumping right into it here. It's going to be on Inferno, and as we go over the map sort of bans and picks once again, this first one I believe was the pick that came out. Let me just confirm it really quickly. This was the pick that came out here from the members of Frag, so they managed to pick this one. The second pick came from ORGLESS, and it was over on Cash, so that was the second map we went for. Mirage is going to be our third